Hello everybody, in today's video I want to talk about the way you organise your anthology poetry answer. The 2024 exam report said, and this is a paraphrase, that the best answers did not systematically go through the poems chronologically, but instead focused on ideas and methods. So let's just stop and think about this for a second. Imagine this is your question. Compare the presentation of power in London and one other poem. Well, of course, the named poem is the only text you have there with you in this section of the exam. So you're going to want to go through that poem, annotating it, picking out anything you think you might want to bring into your answer. So as we read through London, we might pick out the repetition of chartered. A charter was the name given to the document explaining who owned what. So the first uses of chartered could refer to the fact that the properties around the speaker were privately owned, but the repetition of the word is more ironic. The chartered Thames does flow. Here we see the forcing of human power and control onto something natural, a river. And there is, as we see in lots of the poems in this cluster, a juxtaposition of the power of nature and the power of humans. Humans would seek to charter, control and organise everything, even something as uncontrollable and natural as the River Thames. So one of the causes of suffering is the misuse of power through the chartering of each chartered street and the chartered Thames, which saw the rich get richer and the poor being more heavily controlled, widening the gap between the poor and those in power. We might also pick out the repetition in stanza 1, the repetition in "and mark in every face I meet, marks of weakness, marks of woe," where we've got the repetition of mark but with different meanings. Mark in every face means notice in every face. Marks of weakness, marks of woe means signs of weakness, signs of woe. So the same word is used but now with a different meaning, and the repetition highlights the inescapable repetitive suffering of those in London. Another type of repetition is the anaphora found in stanza 2. Now, anaphora is where a word or group of words is repeated at the beginning of successive clauses or lines, and in London we have that within every cry of every man, in every infant's cry of fear, in every voice, in every band. So by repeating in every, it emphasises how the suffering Blake describes is not limited to just one part of London or one type of person, but affects everyone everywhere in the city. The anaphora also affects the rhythm of the poem. The rhythmic repetition reflects the unending nature of the suffering described. And then in the final stanza, I might pick out the marriage hearse. How can the image, this oxymoronic image of marriage with connotations of celebration of life, love and new beginnings, be linked to a hearse, signifying the end of life and the inevitability of death? Well, perhaps this oxymoron emphasises the disillusionment felt with those in power, the monarchy, government, organised religion, landowners who were supposed to protect and serve, but instead are the source of widespread suffering. And this structural decision to end the poem with this image heightens its impact and leaves the reader with no hope for improvement, just like those suffering under the oppressive leadership in London. So all of this is fine, and I'm then going to come up with my idea. Perhaps I'm going to write something about how London criticises the institutions that use their power to oppress others. And then I'm going to choose my second poem, perhaps Checking Out Me History, because it essentially has the same idea. And I might write my introduction. It might look something like this. Both Checking Out Me History and London critique those in power who define and confine identity, but whilst Checking Out Me History critiques the education system's biased portrayal of the subject, London reveals the oppressive nature of government and religion. Now, the key thing here is that I should now choose evidence from the poems that fits my argument best, not just work through this list of things I found chronologically. So as an example, I might want to start with an analysis of the oxymoron that actually ends the poem, and that's fine. The order I structure my answer in should be led by the ideas I'm exploring, and I shouldn't be worrying about sort of working my way down through the poem in a chronological order. The idea, my answer to the question, is key. I should write in whatever order most clearly matches that. Now, I don't know why this is, but in poetry, more than any other exam section, what I always see is students drift into this sort of, let me tell you everything I remember about the poem. But remember, answering the question is key, and you will answer the question and bring things out from the poems in whatever order fits your line of argument best. Now, the video I'm linking here on screen is my epic video with 3 points of analysis on every single Power and Conflict poem, so do check that out. If you found this video useful, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.